in half an hour. But for now, back to Charlie and Lou.
See you then, Carol. Thank you.
Thank you. So as we wait to hear the details of how Boris Johnson hopes to steer England out of its third national lockdown, Nina is looking at what businesses are hoping to learn from the so-called roadmap, which we will hear about later today. She's in the pub. Good morning. Obviously adapted to weather that perhaps they might not be accustomed to.
It's very impressive. Looks like a lovely place to
look lovely.
To chill out. I draw your attention to this there's a little picture here. Can you get in on this picture here? So there is a sale going on.
Come on, Charlie. I love that
red one.
Mine was round.
Yeah, circular. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite stylish.
Love that telly.
And I'm assuming I was looking around here carefully because the early big TVs. People remember used to have shutters on them, and there were, proper cabinets and everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm always intrigued. If you're watching us this morning
on a round telly,
on one of the thing is though,
I bet, do you think it still work? It wouldn't work anymore, would it?
Oh yes,
would it?
The one that I had, one of those round portable ones, a black and white one, and it never stopped working.
It had little dials on the top where you would tune it in and turn on.
And if they weren't working properly,
obviously.
Whack on the top, which when an engineer, when I came to work at the BBC, told me actually there was a reason why people did that. It wasn't just frustration.
Technically, it did actually make a difference.
Oh, really? Somebody told me that once, so that counts.
If you're watching us on a round telly, very special good morning. I don't think they'll still work, but maybe they will.
Let's see, it's 6:21 right now. Boris Johnson will announce when schools in England can reopen later, with March the 8th expected to be the date suggested.
There is likely to be some flexibility around that date, but it's thought all students will go back at once, unlike in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, which have chosen phased returns. Here's our education correspondent, Dan Johnson.
How will...
Well, so many people will be watching with so much interest to see what's going to happen. Let's speak to Dan, who's at a school in Stratford in East London for us. Morning. So whether it's wanting to know when your children will be back in the classroom or how you can reopen your business or perhaps when you can hug your family, we have all got so many questions about what the next few months might look like.
And with Boris Johnson set to announce how lockdown restrictions will be eased across England later on today, some of those questions might finally be answered.
But with our previous lives feeling more like a distant memory, how ready are we to get back to normal? Good question. Breakfast Graham Satchell has been finding out.
It's absolutely stunning.
It's just fantastic, Carol, isn't it? Thank you for showing us that. Wonderful pictures. Thank you.
Back with Carol later on, 6:48 right now. So schools in Scotland will reopen today for preschool children in early learning and childcare settings, along with the first 3 years of primary.
There's also a limited return for senior students for essential practical work only. Let's speak to our Scotland correspondent, Alexandra Mackenzie, who's at a school in Glasgow. A morning to you. Just take us through what's happening today.
Mind you, in terms of the timeline today, the rest of it remains a bit of a mystery. We do know 3:30 this afternoon in the Commons, Boris Johnson will be addressing MPs, and then 7 o'clock, a press conference detailing whatever has been announced.
Yeah, and we're due to speak to the Vaccines Minister, Nadeem Zahawi, at 7:30, so in just a few minutes' time, actually. A BBC investigation has revealed how the government's licensing system fails to stop fly tipping.
All waste carriers need to have a licence, but Panorama found they don't guarantee waste won't be illegally dumped.
In the last official figures, there were more than 1 million cases of fly tipping, but only 1 in 400 led to prosecution. Richard Bilton reports. Oh, Carol, thank you very much.
We might be speaking to a couple of people who are watching the weather forecast fairly carefully at the moment, Carol. All will be explained.
It will. Is it a good day for a swim? If you think you've been cold while exercising outside this winter, imagine taking a daily dip in the icy waters of central Lanarkshire. 2 women in Canwarth have been taking the plunge every day in February to raise money for a local playgroup.
So this is Lynn Steer and Patricia West, who have now raised more than £5,000, even given themes to their swims. We'll be talking to them both in just a moment. Let's see them do what they do.